皆様ごきげんよう、メイド水木です。Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, students. Welcome to class. お久しぶりな気がしますね。YouTube の方ではTwitch ではね、毎日配信してるんですけど、YouTube で配信しなさすぎてね。毎日配信するのが当たり前だったから、配信してないみたいな気持ちにね、なりますわね。Well, it's been a while. I feel like, you know how I used to, I feel like, stream almost every single day. I think streaming 4 days out of the week or 5 days out of the week was so normal that now I feel like I'm not streaming at all on YouTube. Even though I am on Twitch quite a lot. But thank you so much for joining us. ということで、デルフィノさん、カイさん、Time to Twirl さん、リーデンさん、ごきげんよう。Oh, a batch change. Welcome! A whole year student. That is crazy. ということで本日なんですけれども、私が主催しております言語学習チャレンジのフォローアップ配信となっております。So today is a follow-up stream for a language learning challenge that I am hosting. It is called Study with Mizuki 2025. And the goal is to memorize 1,000 new words in the language that you are studying, either in English or in Japanese.ということで、私が主催している、Study with Mizuki 2025っていうチャレンジなんですけれども、オーバーオールの目標がですね、1000単語、新しい単語を1000覚えることとなっております。日本人の方はよろしければ、英語、日本語学習者の方は日本語を覚えなさいっていうチャレンジですね。鳥も頑張れって感じ？脳筋でいけみたいな感じなんですけど、皆様にね、目標与えといて放置するのもかわいそうだし、私優しいから。こうやってね、たまに、頑張れって。たまに頑張れってね、フォローアップ配信してるんですけれども、皆様が、持ってるご質問だとか、皆様がポストしてくださったものを見て、みんな頑張ってる偉いってやる配信です。So there's two parts of this stream. On this stream, there's the post reviews where I review your posts and I congratulate you and when everybody else, including me, when all of us say, you're doing so great so that you can keep up the motivation. And then there's the Q&A section where I answer any of the questions that you have.And do a little grammar review if you have anything that you would like to submit through the chat. スターベーダーさん、Hello, have a glorious day. Thank you. I hope you stay. 存在さん、Hello, 水木先生。皆さん、こんにちは。Oh, also, if you would want your comment to be reviewed, you can try to make comments in Japanese if you're still learning Japanese. And if I find anything,that you would be able to make it better, I will point it out so that it'll be good. Yeah, hopefully. Okay, so, here's the thing. Wait, no, I just said that in English, did I? ですね、ここからなんですけれども、もし、英語の勉強してるよっていう方で、コメント見てほしいな、みたいな、英語でコメントしてみたいな、みたいな、将来ね、他の活動者様、他の VTuber の方のコメント欄でコメントして、それが通じるようになればいいなって思ってる方、もしよろしければ、自分が今勉強してる言語でコメントしてみてください。できる限り私もね、それで、もしこの文法もうちょっと良くなるよとか、こうしたらもっとナチュラルになるよみたいなのがあれば、それをね、指摘しながらみんなで一緒に勉強できたらなと思います。Again, this is only if you wanted to. やりたいと思ったらなんですけどね。はい、ということで、without further ado, shall we? ということでね、もう夜も遅い、更けてまいりましたので、早速、何これ知らんのが映ってます。はい。Okay, if you have Twitter, I hope that you will be on Twitter so that you will be able to comment on these things that I will be yeah, what's the name? I'm so bad at English today. 待って、今日本当に英語喋れないかも。パンダさんごきげんよう。はい。ですね、なんて言おうとしてたんだっけ？そう、ツイッターでね、もしよろしければ皆様ツイッターでタイムラインを追っていただけましたら、私今から皆様の、ポストをね、なんていうの？リツイートとかして偉いっていうので皆様もいいねとかで皆様お互いモチベーションをね やっていければと、アップしていければ、アップは違うんだわ。まあ、ね、頑張れってしていただければと思います。思います。ごきげんようとお久しぶりです。ダメヤノさん、ごきげんようね。ごきげんよう。そう、尿はね、urine のことだから。いや、for the lack of a better word, 尿 means pee. So, make sure you get the right letters. はい、だって尿はね、urine 排泄するものになってしまうので、気をつけましょう。ということで、Okay, so again, feel free to follow on the timeline on Twitter so that you'll be able to share and like the posts that I will be posting so that everybody who has been posting can get recognition and be told that they're doing great. ということで、いきますか。アストラマイコーさん土曜日。素晴らしいですね。価格、地域、異なる都市部、家賃、利便性。これ私のだわ。でもやっぱりね、思うんですよ。One thing that I have definitely realized, I guess, is that the more you practice writing, the better you get. Even if you're not really intending to get better at it. なんか一つ、最近っていうかずっと気づいてきたっていうかね、面白いなって思ってきたことなんですけれども、書けば書くほど上手くなるのはガチだなって思いました。別に、文字を上手くなろうと思って書いてる方ばっかりじゃないのはね、分かってるんですけれども、そうでないにしろ、こうやって継続されてる方こそ、ほど、本当にどんどん字が綺麗になってってるから、継続こそ力ってこういうことなんだな、とかね、思いましたね。buffering? Am I buffering? 待って。バッファー起こってる？ぐるぐるしてます？ Am I ぐるぐる right now?ぐるぐるしてたら言って。Let me know if it's buffering. Stream is perfect. OK, 存在さんかも。ごめんなさいね。ということで、アストラマイコーさんありがとうございます。次、うそみさんです。I had an issue, but refreshed and it was fine again. Ooh, must have been me then. Sorry. 私だったのかも。そして、リーデンさんごきげんよう。ウェルカムですわ。ということで、where はどこで場所というイメージだったので、場所の情報なんてどこに状態でした。そうですね。そこで where のような言い回しだと解釈すればいいのでしょうか。where にこんな使い方があったのですね。We're gonna come back to this because I am going to need your help. Oh, also, this is a place where native English speakers will help me answer questions from Japanese people and vice versa. ちなみになんですけれども、これ私一人が教師なのではなくて、日本語学習者の方がね、こういう質問があるんだけどっていうのに、日本人の方いらっしゃったら一緒にね、回答したりしていければなと思っております。ということで、we're gonna come back to these. スチューデントが例文から省かれてました。When I was in high school, I used to have an early morning part-time job at a bakery as a student って感じかな。どこだ？高校生の時ってことですね。Okay. So, Usomi-san, one of the biggest differences between English and Japanese is the amount of I's that you use in a sentence. Like, in English, you have to always make sure, even within a sentence, to specify I did this, I did that, like, or he did this, he did that. But in Japanese, you can kind of just get rid of it as long as the person can tell that is what you're, like, talking about. Which does give people some, confusion, like people get confused by it. So Usomi-san is going through that. Usomi-san thought that there's this example sentence where I kind of made that says, when I was in high school, I used to have an early morning part-time job at the bakery. Usomi-san probably thought that, when I was, I think like, oh no, this is a translation thing. When I was in high school, 私は高校生の頃. Oh, okay, sorry, my bad. 待って、これ違う。私の、翻訳の問題ですわ。So, okay. This is a sentence that I made. By the way, the 250 YouTube shorts that I made the Japanese sentence first and I translated all of that into English. So sometimes the English sentence might not sound as natural because I'm trying to give off as much of the nuances right when I translate it into English. And so just keep that in mind. あ、すいません。ちなみになんですけど、YouTube でね、私のショート動画の方を見ながら、こうやって勉強していただいている方に言っておきたいことがあるんですけれども、こちらまず私日本語の文章を作って、その日本語の文章を英語に訳してるんですね。で、英語に訳す際なんですけど、日本語の、なんていうか、日本語のニュアンスを失わないような翻訳の仕方をしてるので、英語にした時にめちゃくちゃナチュラルかどうかって言ったらそうじゃない文章もたくさんあると思うんですね。なのでそこだけちょっとご留意いただけたらなと思っております。こんばんは。これから初めて水木先生のライブを見ます。ありがとうございます。ちなみに、ライブは配信と言います。By the way, when you're watching a stream, this stream is 配信. When you're watching the stream by like YouTubers or VTubers or like streamers, this is called 配信. Live in Japanese, you can translate it to like 生. Stream itself is 配信. If you want to say live streaming, you can say it 生配信. Live stream. はい。加賀さん、こんみずき。加賀さん、こんばんは。ごきげんよう。Okay, repeat after me. こんばんは。これから初めて水木先生の配信を見ます。水木先生の配信を見ます。And also, by the way, my name is Mizuki. Close kanji, but the kanji that you chose was the sun. My kanji is the moon. 近いですね。近いけど微妙に違う。私の名前はね、水木。水日ではないのでね。太陽ではなくてお月様の方ですね。My bad, bro. No, it's not your bad. You gave me a great opportunity to learn, so thank you. After me. 配信を見ます。配信を見ます。ということで。こちらですね、高校生の頃、高校生って書いてあるのでね、ハイスクールスチューデントかなって思ったんじゃないでしょうか。これ、日本語で高校の頃よりも高校生の頃の方がよく使うように文法的に間違っているわけではないものの、ナチュラルなのは高校生の頃。よし。使うように、使うので、私が勝手に高校生の頃って言っただけですわ。ごめんなさい。When I was in high school とか When I was a high school student high school こちらも言えます。Okay, sorry, my bad. So it turns out that it was my bad. 私のせいでしたわ。普通にね。in Japanese, when you want to say something like when I was in high school or when I was a high school student, it somehow feels a little bit more natural to say 高校生の頃 when I was a high school student than saying when I was high school. 高校の頃 when I was, well, 高校の頃 basically. If I were to direct translate 高校の頃 it would be when I was high school. I know it doesn't make sense in English, but it does in Japanese, but it does sound a lot more natural to say 高校生の頃. And so this sentence, I decided to just say when I was when I was in high school in Japanese, which made Usomi-san a little confused. So that's my bad. ごめんなさい. OK. ということで、ありがとうございました、うそみさん。Thank you, うそみさん。次、アストラマイコーさん、日曜日、方言とかね、利便性同じく理科、県、音、様々方言ね。日本には県や地域ごとに様々な方言があります。方言, by the way, means dialect. In Japan, dialects aren't considered different languages. I understand depending on any countries or regions that you're from, some dialects can actually be considered different languages, right? In Japan, none of them are really considered languages, aside from the Ryukyu language and the Ainu language. But the other ones, even though, for example, the Tsugaru dialect is so different that people probably won't be able to understand, it is still considered a dialect. Interesting fact. ということでね。日本では方言がたくさんありますよね。もちろんアイヌ語とか琉球語っていうのは方言ではなくて言語の方に含まれますけれども、あとなんだっけ、小笠原英語でしたっけ。ごめんなさい、私の勉強不足でちゃんとした言葉が思い出せないんですけど。ただね、国によってはまた地域によってはあまりにも言語の中に存在する方言的なものが違いすぎて言語っていう風に認識されるものもたくさんあります。わかりやすいのが中国語ですよね。いわゆる普通語と広東語みたいなのがあったり、私が知ってる中ではフィリピンにもいろんな言語があるっていうのを知っておりますわ。はい、ということで、Can you break down the kanji please later for 配信? Yes, for sure. Can you remind me later? You can just like copy paste it later on the comments and I'll come back to it. Can I think of 高校生頃 as at the high school time? Yes, at the time I was a high school student. You need no in between though. 高校生の頃。はい、なってゆうさん、Hello 先生。Hello, welcome. あと、under 7MNT さんとタイさん、welcome, ようこそ。Okay, なってゆうさん。There you are. Review what I learned on the current chapter of this textbook. Next new chapter, new vocab, new whatever they got. Yes! パソコンを使わないでください。なんでそんなこと言うの？やっぱね、字上手くなるんですわよ。Everyone gets better at writing the more you write. I'm not saying that your handwriting, not to use on, was bad. But I do realize that you are getting better at being able to like write between lines, which I know is really hard when you're learning a new language. But the balancing of the letters are getting so much better. なんか別に元々の字が綺麗じゃなかったっていうわけではないんですよ、全然。もちろんそんなことはないんですけど、線と線の間に書けるようになってる。ちなみにこれ本当に難しいんですよ。特に日本語みたいな漢字とかね、結構画数が多いような文字になると、線と線の間に書くってのね、ほんと難しいんだから。な。よし。先生、why don't you use Toki for this situation? You can say 高校生のToki, but Toki simply means time. The time I was in high school versus Koro feels more of like the time period. It feels like you're talking more about the time period instead of just a specific time. And so when you're talking about the past and you're talking about a certain time period, Koro just sounds a little bit more better. It doesn't mean that Toki is not okay. It just means that Koro will signify more about a time period, a certain length of time, while Toki sometimes can only mean like a certain specific period of time or specific time. And so Koro sounds a little bit better here. So, ということで、字がどんどん綺麗になってる。すごいです。頑張引き続き 頑張りましょう。はい。Well, I've only been learning to use Toki, so Koro is still new to me, which is okay. Both are fine. It's just that it's nice when you know like when you can use Toki and when you can use Koro, I guess. So yeah. では、次行きましょう。加賀さん、there you are. 加賀さんが来ましたね。美しい世界で夢を見たい。わかる。東京、車、いた車は、いた車 is the otaku, like, anime, like, character wrapped car. Very specific. ね。東京ね。東。So, a little thing about Tokyo. I will maybe write this down. Tokyo simply means the East Kyoto. Tokyo. 東 East. Signifies the city of Kyoto. The previous capital of Japan. This playing card. So, what would you do if you saw an itasha of yourself, sensei? I would try to very quietly and secretly take a photo of it. And be like, ah! Alright, So, did you know? Tokyo simply means the East Kyoto. Because Kyoto has been the capital of Japan for such a long time, the term Kyoto just feels like the capital. So, when they decided to rename Edo, when Tokyo, I guess, became the capital, they just decided to call it the East Kyoto, East Capital. ということで、東京、こういうのね、やっぱり知らない方からしてみたら勉強になったら面白いやつですよね。ということで、はい。Is ita-tansha for anime motorcycles correct? Is that a thing? I don't know. ita-tanshaってあるんです。私知らないかも。tansha. Shall we look it up? ita-tansha. It does look like there's a thing called ita-tansha. イターシャって読むんだ。へえ。イタバイクの方がでもなんかわかりそうですけど。or イタバイク。I didn't even know that this was a thing. また私、イタバイクっていうのが本当にあるって知らなかった。すごい。世界がある。そう。I think you already know that kanji have a lot of connection with Chinese, but did you know Japanese also has a lot of similarity with Vietnamese, although not enough to understand each other? Yes, exactly. So there's this idea called the kanji using countries. That was a thing before, you know, a lot of things that happened in history, which was like China. And I'm not saying the country China that is present right now. I'm talking about many different countries of China that existed within that area, in the Chinese areas that is considered China now. There's Korea, there's Japan, there's like Taiwan, there's Vietnam, and these countries were the countries throughout history that used Chinese characters. And that just shows how much influence Chinese characters had throughout history of Asia, especially in East Asia. The reason why kanji is not used anymore is, you know, because many places decided to adapt other things, like, you know, maybe develop their own writing systems. But because of that, there's a lot of words that it's actually pretty common between those countries. And even if they're not as common, like as close as you think, when you write it down, you'll realize that there's so many similarities. For example, in Japanese, a lot of the a lot of the words that did come from China is so close to Cantonese because that is so much more closer to the original Chinese language that was brought into Japan. So yeah, it's really cool, isn't it? そう、漢字文化圏ってね、日本だけじゃなくて、日本だったり、台湾だったり、韓国だったり、あとベトナムももともと漢字文化圏なんですよね。面白いなと思います。ということで予定が詰まってるのが packed schedule なの。保管がそのままなのが少し面白いですね。てっきりメニュースケジュールになるかと思いきやでした。いい着眼点ですね。スケジュール、英語は予定表のような意味合いとニュアンスがあるので、スケジュールが複数になることはあまりないんです。そう。ということで、seems like there's also 板チャリ、板バス、板トラック、板電車に板飛行機、板飛行機板飛行機ね。Vietnamese used the colonized writing system just because of how easy it is to use. Because of that, our literate rate increased a lot. That is interesting. Did you know that after, you know, I don't like talking about like, you know, war as in history, but after World War II, there is a huge power that came from other countries to prohibit Japan from, not prohibit, but to eliminate Japanese letters from being used. So there is, you know, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of you who thought that just memorizing everything and just having Japan start using Romaji would be the easy way out, right? There was actually a lot of government power that tried to do that in Japan. From other countries. There were countries who came together and was like, you know, just get rid of kanji, get rid of Japanese letters. It's gonna be so much easier. And some people were against it. Some people were like for it. But after a while, people did start to figure out that actually using kanji and Japanese letters like hiragana and katakana was going to be a lot easier. And also, I believe it was the United States of America that that tried to do a survey within Japan to prove that the Japanese literacy rate was not good enough because of how difficult the kanji was. They did a survey, but they couldn't kind of prove that the literacy rate wasn't bad. It wasn't the best, but it wasn't like bad. And so because of that, they didn't have enough proof to actually continue on with the idea that Japan should just make everything into Romaji, and now we still are stuck with kanji. History is interesting. ということで、Day 100! うさみさんすごい Nice maid! ということで、3ヶ月を3 months と書いてありますが、3のような、数字のような書き方はあまりしないのでしょうか。全然していいです。100日すごい。あ、ちなみになんですけど、めちゃくちゃちなみにですね、これ私も最近学んだことなんですけど、実は第二次世界大戦後、日本から漢字やひらがなをなくそうっていう運動があったらしいんですね。その運動っていうか、敗戦国になったわけで、他の国からの圧力でローマ字にしなさいみたいな運動があったらしいんですよ。で、実際にローマ字にしてもいいんじゃないみたいな人がいたりもしたらしいんですけど、確かね、アメリカの方が、じゃあ漢字が難しすぎるから日本の識字率はそんな良くないんだっていうのを証明すればいいんだわってことで、調査をしたと。そしたら調査の結果、めちゃくちゃいいわけでもないけど、いや全然悪くはなかったってのが証明されてしまい、その結果、それローマ字にはならなかったらしいです。はい。language preserved. language preserved. OK。100日おめでとうございます。ちなみに数字で全然 れは私が書いてみたので、よいしょ。どうぞね。日本語の教育ね、いろいろと面白いです。部長は氷をお作りになります。あ、お作りになりますですね。わあ、難しい。Okay, we're gonna come back to this. Okay, というわけで、not to you, son. Today, 135 of learning Japanese. 135. That is amazing. Picking up new vocabs and past tense short forms. Yes, past tense. 食べた、読んだ、可愛かった、静かだった、可愛かった。Used to be cute. It can't mean that you're talking about something that you thought was cute, but Okay. この配信は日本語クラスじゃない。この配信は歴史のクラスだ。歴史の授業。まあ最近私が勉強してるのが歴史が主だからかもしれないですけどね。面白いですね。はい。で、today, a little reminder. Japanese past tense is a lot easier than you think. Japanese past tense. は、竹って言ったらいい？ちょっと竹いそうじゃないのか？あ、こっち。When there is a ta at the end, that is past tense. Easy. ということで、日本語の文法で簡単なのは多分過去形ですね。簡単な文法です。竹、past tense。文章の最後がたの時、過去形です。過去形 past tense. When the end of the sentence is た、super simple. That is past tense. はい。And at the end, or at the end of the verb. End of the sentence, or at the end of the verb, that is past tense. So today, also when there's a ta at the end of the verb, that is past tense. ということでね、日本語では動詞の活用の最後がただった場合と文章の最後ですね。まあそのままですけど、動詞の最後ですけどね。がただった場合、過去形です。Good job!Okay, we have to continue on fast. 急がなきゃ。Just went through my notes and all the past tenses really have ta ending. Good to know. It's like mind-blowing when you realize it, right? そう。なんかこんな簡単って思えるようなことでも、うわ、本当だってなったら気持ちいいですからね。I hope you had a good aha moment. 長い。この道は長いです。時間が長くなりました。先生は長い時間話されました。素晴らしい、加賀さん。ほんと字綺麗。皆さん、どんどん字が綺麗になりますね。月曜日、アストロマイコーさん。音様々方言。あ、ここまで最後、この間やったところ。敵攻撃防ぐ盾。いいですね。Good job. 次。I wasn't in headspace to use my textbook to study grammar, but still wanted to study it. So I watched a video series instead. That is so amazing! Being able to switch the material to study is such a great power move. What the way? Being able to switch the material to study is such a great power move. What a way to keep your motivation up high. It is so true. When you're not motivated enough, it is always really nice to be able to freshen up and try different things to study from. What's your opinion on the app Renshu? I'm sorry, but I've never heard of that app, so I don't know if I can give you any advices or opinions. あえてでお盆、休み、帰省多い。そう、お盆ね。Obon, I just made a tweet about Obon, I believe, yesterday, but Obon is this weekend. People are going back to their family house, grave, wherever they're at, their hometowns, and yep. ということで、 で、101、I が2回、前が2回、こんなに私を使っていいのってレベルで使ってるのちょっと面白いです。確かにね、日本語に慣れてたら、えってなりますわよね。うそみさん is saying that Usomi-san is not sure if she's supposed to be using so much I's in a sentence. Because we don't do that in Japanese, right? So it feels so interesting and weird. Morning came before I knew it while I was preparing my presentation for my research. I know, so many I's and my's. But can we somehow get rid of any of them? Morning came before I knew it while preparing presentation for research. Yeah, probably not. 面白いですね。よいしょ。次。行われるが held。ホールドの過去形、過去分詞形なるほど。持つとか保つのイメージが多いホールドですが、行うにも使われるのですね。その通りです。hold, to hold an event. Although I feel like when you are still learning a language, the term hold really feels like it is often used for holding an object. And so it's really interesting when you finally learn that hold can also be used to hold like events. So, Azuka san, Anyo, welcome. そうなんです。I do think it might be important to remember it as holding an event, holding something. こんばんは。そう。ちなみに、何かの行事、イベントを行うに使うので、それごと覚えちゃいましょう。Morning came before I knew it while I was preparing my presentation for my speech. Oh, sorry, didn't mean to send. Taking notes. I see. 素晴らしいです。では次、長い夜が明けました。長い。Yes. Oh, Arisa san. Oh, by the way, Arisa san. Arisa sensei is another Japanese teacher VTuber. I hope you all are following her. ちなみにArisaさん、Arisa先生ね。もう一人の日本語教師系 Vtuber の方です。皆様ちゃんとアリサ先生のこともフォローしてね。So, trying to avoid I in sentences feels almost formal or academic. True. So true. But that is, I feel like when you're writing an academic paper, it feels like you're trying to eliminate I so that people don't really think that it is just your own opinion, and you're trying to make it feel and sound like, even if it's not, trying to make it sound like it's a collective mind. It's a collective idea and it's not just yours, so that it doesn't come off to me. Or at least that's how I always felt. Academic papers use one instead. One might feel that way. Yeah, it's not supposed to be you, I. Okay, thank goodness Arisa sensei is explaining this, so let me just read off of Arisa sensei. Nagai. Although they're the same word, depending on the kanji, the nuance changes, representing eternity and permanence. Oh, that's a pretty name. Not pretty name, that's a pretty word. Expressing physical length or time. Yes, so nagai and nagai, they both can mean long, but the first nagai is like eternity. It is more metaphorical point of view, and when you're talking about length, and you're usually referring to time. This nagai but is more physical, like Arisa sensei is saying. This can be used for time, but it can also be used for other things, like the tree is long, the log maybe. Trees are like high, maybe not long. Logs are long, a bow is long, my hair is long. When talking about that, you would be using this, nagai. Thank you. To add more to this, 長い。長い is more metaphorical and is usually only used to explain the length of time. While 長い。Why can I not type in? Oh, here we go. 長い is physical and can be used not just to describe the length of time but other objects. For example, 長い髪 or 長い口 Okay. Do they also have a different pitch accent? No, they're both 長い Same. 長い長いどちらもlow, high, low ですね。長いブランドンさん、ごきげんよう、ようこそ。Okay, so, before I post this, let me quiz you on this. Elves. Elves. They live a long life. Which one of these do you think can be used to describe their length, their long life? That was a bad question because it can be both. Okay, I will love you forever. Nagai, the metaphorical one. Well, I guess, yeah, both. One loves the other forever, for a very long time. That is which one? First, 長いそうです。そう、愛とか永遠に愛していますとかはね、きっと最初の長いですね。How about I've been waiting at the hospital for a long time. 病院で長い時間待たされてる。どっち？ Which one will that be? They're still talking about time. 長い。そうです。The bottom one. Because it's not metaphorical. It's just like literal. It's very literal. そうです。で、病院で長く待たされてるとかはこっちね。なんか長い時間、時の愛を誓うとかはこっちね。長い時間待たされてる。そうなんです。長い時間待たされてるんです。予約したのに東京名みたいな。関係ないか。でも地方だとそこまで待たされないこともね、あるとはもうわかんないんですけどね。はい。では。Okay. So, great post. Thank you, アリサ先生。アリサ先生に感謝。木曜日。狙うおしゃれ、店舗完売。いや、本当にね、完売するものを。よいしょ。Next. Oh no, I already posted this. ルビーちゃんを来ましたね。来たわね。ルビーちゃんはーい。何が好き？チョコミントよりも、ナタが好きということで。はい、ありがとうございます。Okay, this is actually a really good material to learn from. いや、これ本当にね、いいですよ。いろいろ学べる。何が好きですか？ If you were to actually say this in this form, it will be 何が好きですか？好き is what? Is it a verb? Is it a noun? Is it an adjective? Tell me. 好きって何？好きは動詞？名詞？形容詞？好きって何ですか？Nobody? 皆様はい。好きは何 ?adjective。そうです。which adjective? そうですね。Wait, I just realized. This is so in the way. ごめんなさい。よくないよくない。よしよしよし。The letters were in the way. Adjective. そうです。好き is an adjective in Japanese. I know there's like quotes that says something like love is an action word. Sadly, it is not in Japanese. It is an adjective. Which adjective is it? Is it E adjective? Not adjective? Yes, it's a not adjective. そうです。not 形容詞ですね。So, when you want to add more stuff after this word, you would usually put not and then continue on. For example, that is the type of chocolate that I like. それは私が好きなチョコレートです。好きなチョコレートです。Or, the band that I like is called Ice Cream. Since we're talking about this, let's just say Ice Cream. I know it's not really a band, it's an idol group, but 私が好きなバンドはアイスクリームです。ということで、好き is an adjective. 何が好き？何 what? 何が好き？ One of the differences between wa and ga, because I know a lot of people have been asking this, is that wa is very general. When you're talking about anything like general, ga, when you use ga, it's like you're selecting something specific to talk about. So you don't say 何は好き because the moment you're asking what do you like, you're trying to talk about something very specific. ちなみに和とがの一番大きな違いは、がは選択ですね。和っていうのは結構何でもすごくブロードな文章に使えるんですけど、がってなったら結構具体的に選択した何かについてのトピックについて話してる。だから何は好きとは言わないですよね。何が好きって言いますね。なので何が好き。チョコミントよりも、より comparison。より comparison。も more than is what it means this case. よりも even more than あなた you. Would I be what to use when talking about love as a noun then? Noun wise, yes. If you want to say noun in a noun form, it will be I. もちろん大好きアイスクリームですね。ルビーちゃん、はい。何が好き？チョコミントよりも比較あなた。And then, like Kaga-san is saying here, が好き is shortened. More than chocolate mint, you. I like you more. But if you want this to be an actual sentence that would make sense grammatically, you will have to say あなたが好き like Kaga-san is saying. But Japanese being the language that it is, when you can tell what the person is trying to talk about, you can actually get rid of a lot of stuff and still try to make it make sense, and people kind of like understand. It's just how it is. Yep, be Japanese. ということでね、素晴らしい。あなたが好き。チョコミントよりもあなた宿題をしてくる。ということで Thank you, Kaga-san. Oh my gosh, it is almost an hour. 待って、もう1時間が経とうとしている。急ぎましょう。はい、金曜日、改良、踏切もね、改良とかね、大事ですね。祖母持病、毎週通院めんどくさいんですわね。which はどっちのイメージでしたが、それはという意味もあるのですね。which. I feel like the first meaning of which we would learn in Japan would be which one, which. But I used which as in like which is type of which here. So Usomi sounds like what? So yes. これ、違う意味がある単語は、では、どう覚えたらいいのでしょう。つまり、周りの単語と一緒に使用方法も覚えるです。例えば、どっちは which one それは which is のように well, I don't really remember the example sentence. So I'm gonna put this in brackets. Why is it so hard to type on an English keyboard? のように、周りに、その後にどのような単語が入るかも覚えるといいです。難しい覚えるといいですよ。もう本当にこのキーボードタイプしづらい。もうちょっと薄いキーボードがいいんだろうな。I think I need a thinner keyboard, not a thick, chunky one, even though it's cute. 可愛いけどね。だからこそ、英文語との暗記を進めています。はい。です。Okay. So, in terms of when you are trying to study English, I think it's not just English, but also Japanese. One of the most important things is to make sure that you try to memorize the type of words that is around the vocabulary that you're trying to memorize. In Japanese, that would usually be particles, and in English, it would be, I guess, particles too. But yeah, not just particles, but what kind of verb that is following the noun. All of those things, memorizing and starting to try to embed in your mind how it is used is going to be very important. はい、風習がカスタム? Well, I'm supposed to come back to this later. ちょっと待って。後でね。よし。彼のと同じ色の布が欲しいです。いいですね。文法パターン、文法エラー。曖昧にほれほれよ。あれ、曖昧じゃないか。Hover your hands as if playing on a piano. That makes it better to type on chunky keyboards. The thing is, have you seen my nails? Well, my nails is honestly the problem. いや、自分でもわかってる。何が問題なのって It is these. Look at my nails.These are the problem, really. 私の、なんでこんなタイプが下手かって。まあ、簡単に言うと、私の爪なんですわね。でも可愛いから許して。But it's cute, so I have to keep them. 可愛いから。可愛いは正義だから。Beauty is pain, people say.Okay, ポケットをさすためにこれも面白いやつですね。この場合の one は人のって意味なんですが、よいしょ。爪ですね。爪でしょ。爪可愛いんですよ。でもね、気をつけないと折れるから。サイドエフェクトって副作用って意味だったんですね。 Usumi-san surprised that side effect means 副作用 in Japanese because side effect sounds like a otaku term and it sounds like a sixth sense type of term. I can kind of see that. 確かにサイドエフェクトってかっこよさそうじゃない？ Imagine an anime character coming out and being like, サイドエフェクト! It sounds like they're gonna do some real cool stuff. なんかね、サイドエフェクトとか言ったら、そういう技とか出てきそうですよね。面白い。土曜日。ラーメントッピングメンマ追加。私メンマ大好き。I love メンマ。By the way, cooked bamboo shoots that you find on ramen, those are called メンマ。メンマ大好き。ということで、この時間は授業がありません。いいですね。素晴らしい。そう。サイドエフェクト。月曜日、視力悪くなる。メガネ、身長。たくさんある。近くも遠くもない。早くでも遅くでもない。おお、面白いですね。claws。ま、claws。火曜日。古民家。古民家 I think is a really interesting term. 古民家、古 the first kanji means old. 民家 means like normal like houses. Residential houses. But 古民家 means like an old traditional house. Not necessarily traditional, but like old houses. That is usually more than 100 years old. A lot of them are these days renovated into cafes because of their aesthetics. So, there's even this term called 古民家 cafe, which means one of those renovated houses that has been turned into a cafe to like one of those like aesthetically pleasing cafes. はい。古民家カフェとかね。Q さんだ。今日は早めに終わったので31単語消化。Guess what? Q さん memorized 31 words in a day. Crazy. Whoa, what the heck? これは850単語ということで、今日チューターイコール家庭教師を学んでいて、ゲームとかでよく聞くチュートリアルのちゃんとした意味も知れてよかった。面白いですよね。I know that a lot of people are like, you know, you learn a few words in Japanese and things will start making sense. Guess what? That is also a thing in English too. Tutorial. Kyusa figured out the meaning between these two and was like, whoa, so that's great. So, it reminded me of the 名探偵コナン episode. The bamboo shoot looked good. Looks so good. 名探偵コナン。真実はいつも一つ。タラタラ、タラタンタタラン、タラタランタタタラタララララ。Did I tell you that I went to a Conan event in Universal Studios Japan? I went to the Detective Conan like real life event restaurant where you could eat a full course meal and Mori-no-chan and like Ranne-chan and Amuro-san would actually be there and the actors would actually act a case out. It was so cool. That's the perks of knowing Japanese, y'all. ということで素晴らしい素晴らしい日本語もそうですけど少しずつ単語を覚えるとあの単語がいろんな単語が部分の組み合わせでできていることが分かってくると思います。日本人の我々が漢字で意味を推測できるように単語の作りで意味を推測できるようになるんですね。ということでYes, I remember. It sounded so cool. I think they're doing the Pocket Theory Diaries right now. そう。 僕なら31単語もちろん調べられるが覚えるのは難しいです。So, oh, by the way, 調べられるが when you use がto mean like but, that is a written that's a written form of Japanese. If you want to make it sound casual or if you want to type it out in chat or say it out loud, 覚えられるけど will be the colloquial language of Japanese in terms of saying but. そう、今の日本の暑さは激ヤバですね。外国人観光客の方々が想像以上の暑さにやられてしまわないか心配になります。うそみさん is worried about all the foreign tourists that is coming to Japan because of the crazy amount of heat. How are you all surviving? そう。最近は朝起きた時には outside air 28度とかになってます。グローバルウォーミング恐ろしいですね。恐ろしいですね。ちなみに outside air とは実際には言わず、日本語の気温という単語の説明のためにこういっただけなんです。すみません。実際は普通にtemperate なんで Why is there caps lock? と言います。よいしょ。temperature って思った。So, I love Apothecary Diary so much I watched it 3 times already. 3 times! That is a lot! そうなんですか。勉強になります。ありがとうございます。いえ、ありがとうございます。こちらこそ。難しいですよね。日本語ね、文語と口語があるから。Poetic Part 1 This is the original color. Should I use this style or the white one? I feel this is more authentic, but the old should be easier to read. No, which one? 元気を出して。Original color? Oh, like the color of the photo. They are both easy to read. ありがとうございます。加賀さん素晴らしい。アストロマイコさん、ありがとうございます。Consistency is amazing. So today, yeah, I sat through Apothecary Diaries myself studying. Then I did the same with Genesis Evangelion and Komi Can't Communicate. So many. よし。ということで、今日25団子1ページ勉強できたのでおしまい。すごっ。英語久しぶりすぎてミスターとミスとミセスの違いを改めて学び直しました。これね。Yeah, since in Japanese we don't have the difference between like Mr., Mrs. and Miss and all those stuff, so it's really confusing. よし。では次。それはダークサイドに通じる道じゃ。そなたの中には恐れがある。これもなんかあれじゃないヨーダだ、ヨーダ。さっきヨーダ terminology。恐れはダークサイドに通じる道じゃ。フォースがそなたと共にあらんことみたいな感じじゃないAmazing. Great job. By the way, putting job at the end is a form that a lot of manga artists and novel authors use to indicate character is an old man. Oh, what's going on? No. Old man. Same with the use of sonata. Since no one uses this way of saying you in real life, this is another way of... I'm just gonna for the lack of space, I'm just gonna say this. Okay. ってことで、did you know that in Japanese there are certain forms that people use specifically to indicate that it's a specific type of character that is saying certain things? Ja is one of them. When you hear ja at the end of the sentence or something like sonata, that just means that the person who is saying it is most likely an old man, and the use of sonata is only done by fictional characters who is like old and from a fantasy world. And so that is how people use those words to just like kind of in a way strengthen the characteristics of the character. It's from Yoda Jedi. Really? I got it right? Yay! You hit a key combination to open DevTools. I do that all the time. Why do I do that all the time? だな。本当にヨーダらしい。羨ましい。私は6年前日本に来た時、USJ でハリーポッターのイベントがあります。ハリーポッター私好き。あ、ちなみに、by the way、日本に来た時、まあ、いいか。ハリーポッターのイベントがありました。いいな。6年前か。遊びに行く家具配置。家具の配置。家具の配置 is often used in Animal Crossing. Now you know. 家具 furniture 配置、arrangement, placement. So if you ever watch any Animal Crossing streams, you would realize that this is a thing. ちなみに家具の配置ってね、あつ森とかのね、配信でよく聞くんじゃないかなと思います。Okay. On learning Japanese, yeah, I've been studying, I promise. There's something that I'm not really sure on, though. When asking a question with 子供の時, does it mean when you were young or in your childhood? Can someone help me with this? It can be both. Good question. The answer is both. They both mean 子供の時. Yes. Wait, I should use 頃. Well, you don't have... What do you mean? 6年... Which one? Oh, for this one? 子供の頃? So for this one, 子供の時 and 頃 are both fine. When you say 子供の時, well, so this is more about a nuance thing. Toki feels shorter. 頃 means a bit longer, but that's it. But yeah, 子供の時, 子供の頃, they can both mean when you're young or in your childhood. So I wish there were more contents like this for other languages too. Well, I'm gonna take that as a compliment. Yay, thank you. I see. Thank you, sis. Of course. You know, I want to learn other languages too, so I'm gonna like wait for teachers of other languages, like VTubers of teachers of other languages emerge. ちなみに他のね、言語のね、なんていうか、他の、なんていうの？例えば、英語教師 VTuber の方がいるからね。韓国語教師系 VTuber の方とか、なんか、タイ語教師系 VTuber の方とか、いろんな方がいればね、いいのにな。私が見つけてないかもしれない。Or maybe it's that I haven't found them yet. Maybe they do exist. Okay, お気に入りの写真を友達に見せました。彼の犬はお気に入りのボールで遊んでます。素晴らしい。お気に入り means favorite object. お気に入り。イェイ。お気に入り favorite object. そうそう。Since it is more for objects, you wouldn't say things like お気に入りの先生。It's not like you can, but it just feels a bit off. 次です。金曜日。老人ホーム医療スタッフ。常駐。もうここら辺多分あれですね。I can tell that me from last year is starting to get, like, be really, starting to lose what the type of words that I can use. 常駐とか。 絶対初級じゃない。For example, 常駐 that is definitely not a beginner intermediate word. しなかったからね。あれのと同じ色の布が欲しいです。Wait, I'm pretty sure I went through this already. もうこれ見た気がする。画面酔い恐ろしい子。私初めてヘッドマウントディスプレイをつけて VR チャットやった時は盛大に酔いました。画面酔い対策にミントティーを飲むとだいぶ楽になります。へえ、やってみよう。ありがとうございます。What plus ever で whatever 何でもですか？英語で単語同士をくっつけて正しい単語にすること結構あるあるですね。日本語でも漢字と漢字単語と単語をつけて新しいものを作るのと一緒かも。でもあれなんですね。そう。ちなみにこのチャレンジは何のチャレンジですか？これはですね、私が主催しているチャレンジです。そっか。初めての方もいるか。ですね、動画のリンクを貼りますね。これ、Oh! I didn't realize this! My video has been viewed over 3,000 times. 待って、3000回以上見られてる。嬉しい。Yay! Okay, this is the challenge. これがチャレンジです。次。これも、駅前喧嘩見かけた警察私なんですね。美味しい、美味しい、美味しい。美味しい。向かい。会社の向かい側に美味しいうどん屋ができました。美味しい !Tasty! Such a good word. Look at the kanji. The first kanji is beautiful. The second kanji means taste. Beautiful taste. Delicious. 美味しい。Easy word, right? そう。日本語もね、なんだかんだ面白いんですよ。美味しい。美しい味で美味しいですよ。面白すぎるっしょ。ってことで、Okay, let's go and answer some questions. なんだっけ Where はどこでという今のイメージだったので、場所の情報なんてどこにってありました。Okay. So, question. Where? How should I explain the usage of where here? Today's Tanabata, where we write our wishes on strips of paper and decorate bamboo branches, not shoots. これ私がね、ちょっと、下手な。I mean, I know that my sentence could have been better, but. これで、よいしょ。I'm going to try to think. When we do. This is like when, isn't it? I'm starting to get so confused at my own sentence. 自分で作った文章に翻弄されてる気がする。Wait, today's Tanabata, where we write our wishes on strips of paper and decorate bamboo branches. Did I write that? Today's Tanabata, when we write our wishes on strips of paper and decorate bamboo branches. Isn't it when? Did I write where? Anybody? No? 誰かShould I just ignore and act like this never happened? Where は正しいです。So where is right? How do I explain it? だったらどう説明すればいい？ How should I explain it? where? 関係 代名詞。関係代名詞 where? 関係代名詞 where? 関係副詞か。関係副詞 where? 場所以外。場面や状況。Well, I'm gonna explain in a very Japanese way. Where? 関係副詞。副詞。で、状況などを説明することができます。Do you also use word 暗記する instead of 覚える? You can use 暗記する, but 覚える would definitely be a lot more natural, I would say. 暗記する is like memorize. 覚える simply means to memorize. 暗記する feels more of like an academic thing, like more like you are supposed to really memorize. I don't understand the question. So the question is, where is usually a term that describes a place, right? But the sentence that I made says, today is Tanabata, the day where people write their wishes on a paper and put it on bamboo branches, I believe. The idea is where is also used to describe situations, right? So like, how should I explain that? I kind of just explained that myself. My bad. Oishii is nice. Yeah, I also like shimi because it makes me think of someone's taste and interest. Ooh, I like that. A description of a location, yes. It is usually used as a description of a location, but it's also used to describe other things. That is like a scenery or a situation or like a point. これはそういった場面で使用されて、そういった使われ方をしているところですね。はい。まあ、ちょっと自分で自分の質問に答えちゃったんで。Well, I was able to get the point easily because two words have direct equivalent in Korean too. Even we use the same kanji. Ooh, nice! That's awesome. Is the pronunciation similar too? Because, 覚える is a Japanese word, but anki is originally... So, originally Chinese word is not exactly the right way of saying it, like describing it, but... Originally Chinese word. Originally Chinese in meaning like the word came in from ancient China, but then the pronunciation definitely has been modified into Japanese. So that it's not, yeah. It's a bit different than how it used to be, I'm pretty sure, but oh yeah, description of events. If the event is unique because of location is where, it's where. If the event is more about the time, it's when. Ooh, I'm gonna write that down. But the difference is not that strict. Both can be used due to overlap. Makes sense. Anki is amgi in Korean, but oboe is not similar in pronunciation, but similar in meaning. Oh, I see. That is so neat. That is so neat. ありがとうございます。Oh, by the way, ポカテロさん、welcome, ようこそ。ごめんなさい、私、ハングルまだ読めないんです。I keep on saying that I'm going to learn Korean, and I haven't even started trying to memorize or like learn Hangul. Oh man. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to translate Damiano-san's comment and into Japanese and read it to Usomi-san. 出来事がユニーク い。と、特定の場面とかで使われるwhere を使い、いつがメインの場合を使うものとより、この文章の場合は、七夕の日付や時間ではなく、何をするかに重点を置いているため、where が使えるってことだと思います。Okay. Maybe unique was the wrong word. I said tokushu. I said tokushu too, so hopefully that helps. Okay. 加賀さん、this one. 母は水を飲むのが好きです。アリサさん said that, so I'm gonna leave that there. 彼は氷を作ることができます。Okay. So, let's talk about a few things here. まあ、ちょっといろいろね、お話できることはあるんですけど、一つ目ですね。彼が氷を作ることができます。Again, one of the biggest differences between は and が when you use it as a particle of the subject is that when you say が you're specifically selecting the subject. 彼は氷を作ることができます means like he can make ice. If you say 彼が氷を作ることができます you're saying he can make ice. Not him, not her, not them, he. So, keep that in mind. You are saying very specifically, he's the one who can make ice, not anybody else but him. Let's say that I am in a group of people, I'm in a group of VTubers, and I say, 私は日本語の先生です。I'm a Japanese teacher. That is simply me introducing myself. 私は日本語の先生です。But if I said 私が日本語の先生です that means I'm the one who's the Japanese teacher. I'm the one. Maybe somebody's looking for a Japanese teacher and I go, oh, me. 私が日本語の先生です。So if you say 彼が氷を作ることができます again, this means he can make ice. And so it gives off the vibe that somebody asked, like, who can make ice? Or it gives off the vibe that you're trying to explain that he's the one who can do it. The chosen one. So, keep that in mind. Okay, another thing. 部長は氷を作りになります。部長は氷をお作りになります。You need to put お in front of 作る because 部長 needs to be respected. You need to say the word in a respectful format. ということで、部長は氷をお作りになります。加賀さん said 部長は氷を作りになります。になる is another form of 敬語, so that's perfect. But in this case, you also have to say お作りになります。はい。おー。Yeah, I know. 敬語 is hard. But you're doing great. はい。ということでね。That's one. そう。 Yeah, wa and ga changes the emphasis, which is why ga is usually used when answering a question to emphasize the answer. Right? Yes! So desu. Exactly. When you're answering a question, you usually answer ga. Because usually when people ask a question, you answer by, in a way, like selecting one answer from many options. So you can emphasize the answer that you're trying to answer. Because there was a possibility that there are other choices. そう、wa と ga の違いの一つなんですけれども、ga は強調なんですね。ga は選択肢の中から一つを選択した時に使えるみたいなイメージ。私は、日本語の先生ですっていうのと、私が日本語の先生ですって言って絶対全然違うと思うんですけど、私がって言ったら、たくさんの選択肢がある中、私がです。よね。それと一緒で、質問の答えの時は、がを使うことが多いんですよ。っていうのは、質問っていうのは様々な選択肢の中から、質問されたら、いろんな選択肢、いろんな答え方がある中から、一つ選んでるから、その時点で選択なんですよね。面白いですよね。って言ってね。Thank you, かがさん。This has been amazing. Okay, last, but not least, うそみさん。In Japan, when we say custom, it means customize. And so when Usomi-san ran into this new word custom, as in like culture, like a custom of a certain culture, like a tradition, Usomi-san's a bit confused. So we're gonna answer that. 日本語で言うカスタムは英語のカスタマイズ。I'm pretty sure, is this even the right spelling? これスペリング合ってる？ Oh, it is right. っていうなんです。自分好きなように変更するとかないんですね。本来のカスタムということ。言葉は文化や風習のことなんです。はい、ということでね。Okay, thank you. Well, that's it for the post part. ということで、I know that took a while. すいません、ちょっと時間かかっちゃいましたけれども、That was post reviews. ということで、以上がですね、ポストレビューとなりました。皆様の投稿見させていただきました。ありがとうございました。Thank you. That has been great. That has been an amazing selection, I guess, of posts. Again, thank you so much. ってことで、ありがとうございます。Okay, now, it is 11:30, so I guess I can still have like 30 minutes to answer any of the questions that you have. ということで、残り30分ね、皆様の、なんていうか、質問とかありましたらお答えさせていただこうと思います。どうでしょうか？皆様なんかございますか？ If you have any questions on Japanese culture, what you're supposed to do to avoid heat strokes when you are coming to Japan, this is the time for you to ask. ということで、日本語の言語のことであったり、文法のことであったり、もちろん文化のことであったりとかね、質問がある方いらっしゃいましたら、お答えさせていただく時間です。Similarly, if you have any questions, if anybody has any questions on English, I'll try to answer whatever possible way I can. はい。ちょっと待って。I am kind of getting hot. お水飲みます。Okay. First question. ありがとうございます。I realize that sometimes particles should be memorized with verbs and adjectives together. Like one should use ga instead of o before ski. It's confusing because to me o feels more natural. Ooh, interesting. That's a good question, yes. I think it is extremely important to memorize, I would say, like, yeah, try to memorize the type of nouns or like adjectives that the particle would go with, usually nouns. And also try to memorize or kind of get a feel of what kind of verbs they're being used with. I think that would be the easiest description, like the best description. Hi. Let me write that down. Okay. Memorize particles with word that comes before and the verb that is used within the sentence is the best way to naturally get the feel of the language. Okay, so this is just like what I think. I don't know about other teachers, and I'm pretty sure there's so many other ways of like point of views. But in my opinion, memorizing particles with words that comes before it. Remember, in Japanese, the word comes before is what the particle is pointing to. Like the particle is a set with. It's not what's after, it's the one before. And the verb that is being used within the sentence, try to memorize or like get a feel of how all of them are being used. And I do think that's the best way to naturally get the feel of the language. In terms of like what feels more natural, I guess the important thing is how a certain particle is supposed to be used. For example, suki, ga suki. So what is ga, first of all, you know? First of all, I guess, what's the difference between ga and o, for example, is that ga can be used for subjects, and again, when you want to emphasize. The reason why a lot of people say ga suki, you know, nani ga suki, is because when you choose something that you like, you're already like doing that selection. You're choosing. You are trying to emphasize because you are choosing out of the many options that you have. That is why ga is usually used before suki. And then what the heck is o? O is usually used for objects or like the middle part of the sentence. When you say o suki, I would instantly imagine that somebody is trying to describe what the other person likes. For example, let me write it down. Nani ga suki desu ka? At this point, I don't even think that I need to explain what nani ga suki means, because I'm pretty sure the entire world knows at this point. Nani ga suki desu ka? What do you like? Like. O suki. Okay. I am going to try to make a sentence that o can go before suki. O suki. I'm trying to think. 今考えてる。お好きって言える。あ、お好きになる。彼は好きになりました。おいいじゃないいいじゃないいいロマンス。もう私もう今飢えてるから、なんか甘酸っぱいの欲しい。甘酸っぱいのが欲しいんですわよ。はあ、甘酸っぱいのがいいんだ。ということでね。OK。虚しくなってきた。もう甘酸っぱさっていうのがなんか見たい。自分が経験をもう十分してる。見たいんですよね。そういうことじゃないって。いやでもね、そうなの。OK。 Okay. 青春青春なんです。青春をもう経験をした。もうそれはいいの。見たい。見ておばちゃん視点でニヤニヤしたいんです。そういうこと。OK。おね。this or 彼は彼女を好きになりました。He started to like her, or like, he likes her, I guess. Now let's talk about the usage of お。ではね、まずね、おの使い方なんですけど、お、particle お、how is it used? In this case, お is the point, not the point. なんて言うんだろう。対象ね。対象。the subject, the target. I guess the target might be a good one. The good word. The target of the action. Or it can also be used as the starting point of an action. Or it can also mean, like, be used for, 通過点とかね。passing point. Passing point of an action. I'm pretty sure there's other great ways to explain it. But in this case, 彼は彼女を好きになりました。In this case, he started to like her, he likes her. This is the target of the action. In this case, it's not an action, it's like an adjective. It's not a verb, but it's still an action, to like. To like is an action, right? を彼女を好きになる。好きになる to start to like, to become to like would be the direct translation. 好きになりました。The target of that action, like, is pointing to her. 彼女。彼は彼女を好きになりました。Which is the reason why you say を in this sentence. If I were to use が in this sentence, 彼はI will have to say 彼は彼女が好きです。I cannot say 彼は彼女を好きです。Or I cannot say 彼は彼女が好きになりました。彼女が好きになりました。You can be used. It just doesn't feel right. Grammatically correct, nuance-wise, can be better, I guess. But do you see the difference between these two sentences? 彼は彼女が好きです。He likes her. 好きです。It's not a verb. Again, 好き is an adjective. 好きになりました。好きになる。好き itself is, yes, an adjective, but になる。You become to like. 好きになる。In this case, it's already a fact that has happened in the past. Now it's like a thing now. The fact that he likes her is a thing. But 好きになる. なる is a verb. And so it is finally considered as an action. That is why が好き is usually used. Does that make sense? It's all about the combination of the word that comes after the sentence. I mean, not the sentence, the particle, and not the sentence. So it's all about what comes at the end of the sentence and also what comes right before the particle. 好きになりました. This is a verb sentence, but 好きです. This is an adjective sentence. In Japanese, there's adjective sentences, there's verb sentences, and there's noun sentences. Sentences that ends with nouns, sentences that ends with adjectives, and sentences that ends with verbs. So I understand, but seems a lot to take in for my current level. Well, the thing is, I don't think it is like a hard thing to like go through. It's more about like, you know, when we try to describe grammar, it all of a sudden becomes hard. So yeah. So I totally understand. Like, you understand what's going on, but it's hard to understand when it's put into words. It's also because of my lack of like skills in terms of explaining. So my part too. Sorry. But yes. So you can have both wa and ga in the sentence. In the same sentence? Yes. You can have both wa and ga in the same sentence. To explain it very easily, wa is usually used for subjects. There's a lot more depth in this, so like I'm okay with people telling me that like the term subject is wrong in Japanese, but we're gonna try to keep it simple. But yes, wa is usually used for subjects, while o can be used for subjects and objects. Objects in meaning like the middle part of the sentence, the extra explanation of the sentence. And so you can use both of them. Can I get like ga is used in adjective sentence and o for verb sentence? Yeah. For example, you can say ga kirei desu, ga kawaii desu, ga oishii desu. You know, these are all adjectives. You cannot say o kirei desu, o kawaii desu. But you can say something o kawaiku suru to make something cute, to make something beautiful. So yeah, adjective sentence ga, verb sentence o. Yeah. そうです。ということで、sorry, that took a while, but I hope that makes sense. And sorry, I know that when I like make things small, sometimes when I like write a lot of stuff, a lot of the sentences, they just like go away. Okay. ということで、ありがとうございました。Okay, next question. What was it? Can you break down the kanji later for 配信？おー、配信。はい。生配信。Okay. Breaking down the kanji might not be the right way to go. Just so you know. A lot of people like the idea of breaking down like kanji in a sentence, or I mean a vocabulary. A word. So like, because, you know, it feels like you will be able to really understand the meaning behind those words as long as you understand the kanji, each kanji, right? The reality is that sometimes it just doesn't work that way. In this case, what I can do is to break down nama haishin into two parts, nama and haishin. Nama haishin means live stream or live broadcast. Nama. Nama means something like raw, or it can also mean, in this case, live. So when you hear the term nama haishin, it means that it is currently live. 私は生配信をしています。I am doing a 生配信。There is a bit of a lag, like, I don't know, 5 seconds. But it is still live, you know, like you're hearing me in real time. That is nama. Nama can also mean raw. So imagine that you are seeing me raw without any edits. So that is what nama haishin means. Haishin means stream. Streaming. Haishin used to be, for example, like a TV word, but currently it is definitely more of like YouTube streaming, like game streaming type of streaming that is mostly used. So I love when breaking down kanji meaning words like with kitai or jiki. Yeah, with those that makes sense, right? But if you break down the word haishin, the thing is, for example, like hai can mean like, you know, to distribute, and The second, 信 can mean to tell information, but the thing is that is not what you are going to get when you look up on a dictionary. The second word 信 usually, like majority of the times, means something like to believe in. See the difference? 信, when used in like media, will finally have the meaning of telling information. And so I guess it is okay to try to like look into words, but sometimes it's not even about the meaning. Sometimes it's just the sound of the kanji that people are using. It's not the meaning of the kanji that people are using. When you are learning, for example, Chinese, I think it's great to really try to understand the meaning of each character. But in Japanese, although it is important to try to understand the meaning of each character, just keep in mind that there are a lot of words that uses kanji not for the meaning but for the sound of it. Like 信頼, exactly. See how different the meaning is? Remember that Japanese, the writing system of Japanese just started by borrowing the written system of Chinese. There are a lot of words, yes, that originated from China that we are still using, from ancient China that we are using, but there are a lot of Japanese words that already existed that we still use. And those words, people just like put the sound, put a bunch of kanji onto those words just by listening to the sound of it. A lot of the kanji is just put there because of the sound that the kanji made. It was so close to the pronunciation of the word that it's just there. And so just keep in mind that when you look into certain kanji, sometimes it just doesn't make sense. So I just wanted to put that out there. But yeah, so 生配信, live stream, live broadcast. 配信 is streaming. 生 means raw. For example, there's a term 生ハム raw ham. 生ハム 生ハム's prosciutto. Because it's kind of raw. In a way. What else? 生魚 生魚 raw fish. Raw fish. So 生 means raw. 生, although means raw, it also just gives off the vibe that something is like fresh or like just made. And so that's why we have terms like 生ビール. There's no such thing as raw beer. It's just the idea of like it being fresh, you know. I don't drink. I don't have like a single tolerance on alcohol, so I don't really know, but I think it's like craft beer, was it? That's the actual word for like 生ビール. It just tastes fresh or something? I don't know. But yeah, that's 生配信. Hope that helps. Thankfully I'll be visiting Japan when it's winter, so I'll be dodging Japan heat. But how cold does it usually get in December over there, sensei? It really depends on where in Japan you're traveling to. And sorry, I don't remember necessarily like where you're from, not to use sun, but if you're from like a dry area, if you're from a place that's drier than Japan, just keep in mind that the cold in Japan is not the type of cold that you can just evacuate by wearing clothes, you know? One thing that was so surprising to me when I went to the States was how tolerable the winters and the summers were. Like, yeah, it was hot, yeah, it was cold, but it wasn't like bone-freezing cold. As long as you were wearing clothes, you were fine. And I was like, dang, this place is nice. Until I started to get really bad eczema. So if you're used to a dry cold or a dry weather, just keep in mind, wearing clothes is not going to be saving you. Like, that is not going to save you at all. Okay. Can you tell us about the no normalizer? I was wondering if I could turn the word 最定義 into a noun by saying 最定義するの Nope! Doesn't work that way. Sorry. No. There's many other ways that you can, for example, try to turn a verb into a noun, but no is not the way. Not the way. Wait. I just was studying no. Where's my notes? There's a lot of usages for no. It can be like apostrophe s, like mine, hers, his, substitution for a noun type of no. Okay. Is the reason behind saying za in namazakana the same as when saying za in mezamiru? Yes. In a sense, yes. So I don't know exactly why, but I am kind of guessing that it just has to do with how easy it is to say certain words. How easier it is to say certain words. Namazakana, namazakana. I think like your mouth and your tongue would move faster if you were to say zakana. When you say namazakana, then say namasakana. So I think it just has to do with like how people started to modify words into ways that was easier for them. So yeah, that's what I think. So let me look into my notes. Just come up there. I have notes. So many notes. Where's my no? No はどこ? ここら辺かな。これは和だから違うかな。熱い。あった。イエーイ。あったあった。所有のの、所属のの、apostrophe s, belonging to a place or a group. Ooh. Listing things up. I feel like there was water. Wait, that's so weird. ちょっと待って。There's water coming back from the ceiling. What? 怖い。何？なんで？ Oh, it's probably because of the... I'm supposed to... Wait. I think it's the vent. Supposed to. Yeah. I mean, I've been in here for like a few hours. So it's the vent, I think. Yeah. 防音室 しっかり換気扇回さなきゃいけないからそういうことかも。Okay, well, there's multiple usages for no. The easiest one that you probably know is like an apostrophe s. 私の mine, 彼女の hers, 彼の his, you know, apostrophe s is how I usually explain it because I think it's just like embodies what it is. And belonging to a place or a group, like 学校の机, you know, a desk that belongs to a school, 学校の机。日本の東京 that is within Japan. Or like, I don't know, スーパーのice cream at the supermarket, belonging to a place or a group. I can also say something like, 学校の先生 teacher that belongs to a school, teacher of the school. You can also list things up as long as you keep on describing things that are smaller. For example, 私の服のリボンの色は緑です。The color of the ribbon of my dress is green. Or substitution for a noun. Substitution for a noun. 彼女の待って。Where is it coming from? Wait. This is scary. ちょっと待って。何？わかんない。It's really just water. Thankfully, it's not like blood. いや、まあ、血とかじゃないからいいんですけど。どこから来てんの？もう終わろうかなMaybe I should go. I'm scared. 何？本当。怖い。なんで？ That is so weird. That is so odd. It's just the ceiling. There's nothing above me. いや、ライトはあるけど、I mean, there's a light, nothing else. Maybe do a little check if it's not something too serious. I really hope not. I mean, it's not, it's like really small. なんかすっごい、そんな、ボトンとかじゃなくて、ポツってもなくて、マジで、敵って感じ。Anyways, moral of the story, you cannot, yeah, what was the question? Yeah, you can't word any words into a noun by using no. So, yeah, that's it. I'm gonna go through the questions really fast. Can I get it like, a guy's used an adjective? Oh yeah, I already read that. You should try out the winter in Australia where inside the house is cooler than outside. How is that possible? What? Isn't that just for a second? Oh yeah. I'm asking about no because I saw the 走るのは楽しい. Oh, that is, yeah. So, but that is a bit different. It is no wa, not no. 走る. So that is the that is the one I was just saying, substitution for the noun. That 走るのは, that no is a substitution for こと. It's actually saying 走ることは楽しい. But you're substituting こと with no, 走るのは楽しい. So it's a bit different in this case. Personally, I would use no こと. Ooh, no こと is actually a mistake that a lot of people do make. No こと is, you can't actually use that. こと is supposed to be substituted by no, and they cannot go together hand in hand. Is 濁点, oh, da, it's D, da, 濁点 always added between compound words like 生魚. 桜、八重桜とかも変化するけど、暗記の感覚で使ってる。いや、それなんですわよね。I wouldn't say it is always. For example, there's like 生チョコ. That's a compound word, but we don't say 生ジョコ. So it's more of like it depends. Yeah. The order is reserved in English. I know. Maybe you think there's a leak or incondensation or someone's bathtub is overflowing. I don't think so. Shouldn't be. Oh wait, can you elaborate on that? だのこと。あよさんこんばんは Welcome! Okay. のこと。いいですよ。I mean, のこと can go hand in hand, but like not in these situations. 怖い。どうしよう。ののは言葉好き。OK。走るのは好き。走ることは好き。です。So, Noah, well, the meaning is a bit different. 走ることが好き。I like this thing called running. I like running. 走る says 走る is a verb in Japanese. You can't use it on its own to indicate that you like running. You have to somehow change it into a verb. And in this case, we often use こと。走ること。走ること。走ることが好き。食べることが好き。とか、配信することが好きです。I shouldn't maybe use no end こと。走ることが好きです。I should put this. I like to run. But you can also say のは好き。のは is a little bit different from こと。こと simply means thing. So imagine that you're saying, I like this thing called running. Called run. To run. I like to run. I like this thing called run. And also, sorry, I forgot to say, Ayo-san, thank you so much for the super chat. スーパーチャットありがとうございます。嬉しいです。Thank you. How can I don't know how to like it. Am I not allowed to like it? I can heart it, but not like, I want to heart and like it. Come on, YouTube. Nice, but ありがとうございます。走ることが好きです。I like to run. And then, we now have Noah. Noah is like, Noah は it's like explanation. And also like Noah あと強調なんですよ。強調ってなんて言えばいいんだろう。強調英語待って本当に怖いんだけど強調何が怖いって金出したって意味でも怖いですよね。emphasis Oh my gosh. Emphasis. Okay. So, can you repeat your 配信 example? 私は配信 Well, 配信 is a bit different because 配信 is a noun. Sorry, that was a bad example. 私は配信をすることが好きです。I can say this. 私は配信をすることが好きです。This is a bit different again because 配信 is a noun. 私は配信が好きです。I can also say this. 私は配信が好きです。Do you see the difference in these two though? 私は配信が好きです。I like streams. I like streaming. if I say 私は配信が好きです、it can mean both ways. It can mean that I like to stream and I also like to watch streams. But if I say 私は配信をすることが好きです。する to do streams. So this one is specifying that I like to stream. The second one, 私は配信が好きです can mean both. It can mean both that I like to stream and I like to watch streams. Or maybe I even like streams because it makes money. Haha. Which doesn't much. But maybe I'm indicating that I like streams because something. There's a lot of options for this. Hi. And then do one with 最低義. Sorry, I don't really understand what you mean by like 最低義. So 最低義 is a noun, right? So you can't try to change that into a noun because that is already a noun. You can try to make this into a verb by saying 最低義する, but you can't make it into a noun because it already is a noun. So since there's no verb, it's ambiguous. Yes. Because 好き is an adjective. So, sorry, if that's not the question you're asking, would you mind me asking it again? Because I don't think I'm understanding it right. Oh, okay, my bad, I misunderstood the word. Oh, okay. Okay, good. よかった。Okay, so こと means thing. 走ることが好き、走るのは好き。When you use こと、you can use verb plus こと to make it into a noun. 走ることが好き、走ることが嫌い、走ること。But then, you can't really use it with another verb. Like, it doesn't make sense. When you do that, you're usually just explaining if you like it or not. So, that's the thing. So just memorize it as like ことが好き、ことが嫌い. It would just make more sense. And then I like to run. 走るのは好き. In this case, のは is emphasis. It's the same with が. When we say 私が先生です, that meant that I'm the teacher, right? 走るのは好き. No is like no already is embodying that like こと. So you're in a way already making this into a noun. 走る, the verb into a noun. But when you say 走るのは好き, it adds that emphasis that you have chosen this out of so many things. Like, it sounds like you're saying like, I do like to run, but maybe not anything else. Like, 走るのは好きだけど、歩くのは嫌い. Maybe you're trying to say that I like running but not walking. Or maybe you're saying 走るのは好きだけど、外で走るのは嫌いです. I do like to run, but I don't like running outside. So, you know, by adding のは, it emphasizes the 走る part. Like, you are choosing this out of many options. Does that make sense? Hope that makes sense. って感じかな。はい。So far so good? Okay. Okay. Any other questions? 他にご質問などございますでしょうか? Do you have any questions? Other questions? Yeah, thank you so much. I hope that makes sense. I know that was not the best explanation that I could give, but I hope it does make sense. ということでね、少しでも意味が分かったらいいな、よかったなと思いますわ。はい。よし。いいかな？ OK。では、私は、これにて、寝るかもしれない。OK。 that's the case, I think I'm gonna go to bed soon. Yay! Because I'm scared. I don't know. There's no any more water droplets. Like, you're so confused. なんでこんななっちゃったんだろう。何が起こってるんだろう。わからない。I have some struggles with the differences, functions of ni. That, I get it. Ni is hard. It's because it has so many different usages. My advice is to just focus on like one of the usages at the time. Because if you try to memorize them all at once, I feel like you're just gonna get very, very confused. So, yeah, に、助詞のにってすっごいいろんな使い方があるんですよね。時間のに、3時に、10時にとか、あと、学校に行くのなんか行動の方向みたいなのとかね。本当にたくさんあるので、私的には一つ一つクリアしていくのがいいのかなと思います。はい。Okay, well, if you could leave a like, press the share button, and leave a comment on the VOD, I'll be very, very grateful. My personal goal is to have, so I feel like a lot of VTubers do shoot for having like, 1% of their subscriber count to come to their streams. Which in my case would be like 160, which is I'm very far from, which is okay because I also realized that there's so many of you from so many different parts of the world. But I do want to shoot for 0.5% so that YouTube will like me even more. Yay. ということで、もしできたらなんですけれども、皆様ぜひ高評価、チャンネル登録、共有ボタンのクリックと、アーカイブへのコメントをしていただけたら幸いです。多分ね、ほとんどの VTuber 様が、自分の登録者数の 1% 以上の方がね、同時接続で来てくれたらいいなと思ってると思うんですけど、ご覧になっていただけたらわかる通り、なかなか難しいもんでございまして、私の場合ね、いろんな国の方がいらっしゃる、見てくださってるって点ではね、この時間がちょっと難しいってのも理解してるのでいいんですけど、できたらね、0.5% 狙いたい。YouTube くんに優遇してもらいたいという気持ちがあるので。はい。今後ともごひいきにしていただければと思いますわ。Yeah, time zone is bad. It's like 1:15 here. 元気そういえば昨日のコラボ配信の話めっちゃ面白かった。嬉しい。うちのコミュニティでも勉強ネタになったんだ。気にせず続けてね。私は配信見ながらちょっと休むだけだから頑張って。ありがとうございます、あよさん。嬉しい。なんかめっちゃ優しい。Thank you so much, あよさん。Well, I'm pretty sure I don't even need to, but こちらあよさんのチャンネルです。This is あよさん's channel for any of you. ちなみにあよさん、チャンネル登録しました。And I didn't realize that I haven't followed you back on Twitter. I just did. Twitter でもちょっとフォローさせていただきました。ありがとうございます。よいしょ。ってことでね、happened to discover you from Twitter algorithm and your boss has been very instructive. Thank you. I will be making more videos once I have a little bit more time. So, stay tuned. That will happen after I pass the exam, which I am hoping I will. はい、ということでね。本日も皆様ありがとうございました。Again, thank you so much for being here today. Raise your paws before you leave so that I can read out your names and say good night. ということでね、皆様、挙手していただけましたらお名前の方読ませていただきますので、コメントの方お願いします。お休みを言わせてくださいませ。ということで、シャークさん。シャックさんお疲れ様でした。ありがとうございました。なってゆうさんたくさんね。Thank you for all the posts. You're doing amazing. デスティンさんもありがとうございました。Time for Twirl さんありがとうございました。ブレイドさんありがとうございました。加賀さんも Thank you so much for your consistency. Your consistency is very much appreciated by everybody. デルフィナさんもごきげんようありがとうございました。なんとデルフィナさん、 多分唯一の日本人。そうなんですよ。日本で売れるためにはね、どうすればいいんだろう考えます。はい。で、タイさんお疲れ様でした。いや、日本人向けのコンテンツ作れって話なんですよね。それはそう。プリンシャムさんありがとうございました。おやすみなさい。ダミアノさんおやすみなさい。あよさんおやすみなさい。ありがとうございます。ミデさんおやすみなさいませ。Thank you for the pause up. Pause up? Pause up and ready? はい、あくんさん、おやすみなさいませ。ありがとうございました。OK、is that it? 以上かな？多分ね、ロム線でいたって方もいらっしゃるかと思いますので、I'm pretty sure there's a few of you who wants to stay, a lurker, and that's okay. Thank you still, thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate it. よし。ではね、またの機会にお会いいたしましょう。I shall see you again. I do have a collab this week. ちなみに今週ですね、コラボございます。今週のコラボなんですけど、伊槌さんのもとで香水のね、話をさせていただきますわ。お話をさせていただくってか、していただくに近いんですけどね。日本語の配信となりますので、ぜひ来てみてください。By the way, I will be having a collab, and that's gonna be at Izuchi-san's, my VTuber friend Dragon's channel. This is the Twitter link. It's going to happen on Wednesday. And yes, I will be receiving some class on perfumes. Yeah. Izuchi-san's going to come up with a certain type of perfume that would be perfect for a maid. And it will fully be a Japanese stream. Izuchi-san's amazing. Izuchi-san, I don't know, I feel like Izuchi-san has the most, design-wise, interactive channel I've ever seen from a VTuber. なんか私個人的に伊槌さんのチャンネル大好きで、なんか今まで見たことのあるチャンネルの中で、なんかデザイン的に一番見やすくてかっこいいと思う。伊槌さん 's thumbnails, each of them looks like movie posters. It's so cool. Really cool. So I hope y'all check it out. Woo, listening practice. Yes, woo, listening practice. そうそう。ということでね、リスニングの練習とかにぜひ来てみてください。ゆずちさん特にね、すごく優しい話し方をされる方なので、ゆずちさん also speaks very nicely, softly, so I think it will be a great practice. では、またお会いいたしましょう。Again, thank you so much for coming. I'll try to figure out what's going on with the ceiling. And I shall go to bed. ということでね、眠りにつこうと思います。皆様ごきげんよう。またお会いいたしましょう。Good night and thank you for coming. Bye!